Hello everyone, my name is Fernanda and I'm going to be presenting my work for the Web 11 entitled Initial Corn Growth in Pots Fertilized with Organomineral Fertilizers Made from Dehydrated Poultry Manure. Starting with a quick introduction, Brazil being the second largest producer of chicken meat in the world faces significant challenges when it comes to the management of poultry manure, considering that high production levels also generate larger amounts of manure, which can negatively impact the environment. So, not only that, it can be said that its generation rate exceeds the degradation rate. That means that there is more manure being produced than there is being degraded. So, because of that, the technique of dehydration can not only reduce its volume and allowing for a more convenient storage and transportation, but it can also eliminate harmful microorganisms, minimize the proliferation of pathogens, and mitigate potential risks to the environment and to the human health. One thing that is very common is the use of chicken manure as a organic fertilizer. Um, However, studies show that using the dehydrated manure alone do not achieve a satisfactory fertilization when compared to other conventional fertilizers. So, while the dehydration is a technique that can help not only with the volume but also the health risks and issues, it's necessary to find ways to enhance this material. So the objective for this research that I'm presenting is develop organomineral fertilizers using the dehydrated manure as the main organic source, improving its quality for being used in agriculture, and also compare the efficiency of these fertilizers to potassium chloride and potassium sulfate, two of the most common mineral fertilizers used for providing potassium to plants. So the methodology presented today started with the production of organomineral fertilizers, moving to a pot experiment in a greenhouse, to the harvest and drying of the plants from that experiment, ending with a statistical analysis of the results. Uh, the fertilizers they were produced at the Fertilized Technology Laboratory of Embrapa Solos, where they were dehydrated, where the dehydrated manure, was grounded and sieved before adding the mineral fertilizers. The mineral fertilizers used were urea, MAP, and potassium chloride. They were produced in total five organomineral fertilizers, as you can see in the table. The fifth and last one being formulated to being used in organic production systems. So it was made with tin phosphate and potassium sulfate. All of the mixtures they were granulated using a rotatory disc granulator in a batch process, which with constant rotation and inclination, and then the granulated mixture was dried and sieved, obtaining then the final product. After that, we moved to the pot experiment. It was conducted in a greenhouse at Embrapa Agrobiologia in Seropédica, Rio de Janeiro. We utilized plastic pots containing a kilogram of a nutrient-poor sandy soil, and the design for this experiment was a randomized complete block with 4 replicates per treatment, using a dose of 200 milligrams per kilo of potassium, and that dose was calculated by the percentage of um, K2O in each um, fertilizer used, as we can see in the table. Uh, Besides those treatments, there was also a control treatment that had no fertilization with potassium. Uh, the corn was used as the indicator crop for this experiment. We left 2 plants per pot over a 28-day incubation period, and by the end of this period, the plant material was harvested and dried in a forced air oven at 65 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. After those 72 hours, the dry matter production was measured and the agronomic weight, the agronomic efficiency of each of those treatments was determined. The experiment, as a result, the experiment demonstrated that all of the fertilizer treatments they were able to enhance the plant growth when compared to the control group at the control treatment. As you can see in this photo, this little one is a treatment, and the other ones are some of the treatments used in this experiment. It can also be better seen in this graph, where again, this is the control one, and these are the other treatments. So the dry matter production, they varied among themselves, among the treatment, and that highlights that there was a effective um, production by the organomineral fertilizers, and they were able to promote corn growth. Um, it can be better. It can be seen better in this table where you can see the matter of each treatment. With that, we can see that T1 and T5 were the treatments with the highest matter production, statistically similar to the treatment with the potassium chlorate. However, T3 was the treatment that had the lowest dry matter production, although it was not statistically different from the other treatments. A possible explanation for these results is that T1 and T5 they had a more balanced proportion of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and that may have helped in a greater root growth and nutrient uptake in the soil. And not only that, but potassium chlorate has a medium potassium release because it's a very soluble product. When we look at the agronomic efficiency of each treatment, and a point, agronomic efficiency is the capacity that the plants have to absorb the nutrients compared to the control. Um, that statistics showed that T1 and T5, again, they outperform the other treatments, even outperform the potassium chlorate. And again, T3 was a treatment with the lowest efficiency. So those results may suggest that T1 and T5 they provided a more appropriate nutrient release throughout the whole crop cycle, and because of that, there were less losses from leaching or from soil fixation, and that promoted a greater potassium uptake when compared to the control itself. So, in conclusion, in this experiment, we can see that it showed that the fertilizers produced from the dehydrated manure they were able to perform similar to the two most common mineral treatments used in agriculture uh, for potassium, and some of the organomineral fertilizers, they even exceeded those mineral treatments in efficiency, and that makes them viable alternatives not only for recycling poultry residues, but also enhancing them and supplying potassium to this plant, which was corn. Um, Thank you, especially thank you to Embrapa Solos, to Elenildo Azevedo Gomes, to FINAP, uh, which were kind enough to sponsor this study, and thank you for watching.